Now we're going to step over to the time machine. So I want to be able to see a page that shows this content on a page. Like I said before, if we look at any page, the content is merely linked to the page. I could click all the little X's on here and remove all of this content, and I'm not removing it from the content repo. I'm simply delinking it from this particular page, right? So, so don't think that I'm getting rid of my content whenever I do that. I'm going to show you how to create a brand new container that'll handle movie type content, style it exactly as we wish, create a new template, and then apply that new template to our training homepage so that we can then drop movies on our homepage. And then also time machine and see our page in the future or in the past. Okay, so you ready? All right, let's go ahead and first create a container that's going to format this content. So let's step under Site and Containers. And I'm going to create a brand new container over here. Once again, under Site and Containers, and add another container called Movie Container. Movies. There we go. Now, if you do not say that this container will handle content contributor content, then you can just leave it at 0. Nobody will ever be able to add content to it, and this would be more like a header or a footer container. All right, you don't want people adding content in your header or footer normally. All right, but I do. I want to say you can add up to, I don't know, 10, 20, 50, whatever you want, pieces of movie content to this container. Maybe they'll add a couple other content types here as well. And then it gives me these expanded fields. I can have a pre-loop, something before my content that's placed on a page. I can choose one or more content types that they can add. And then I can have something that appears after whatever static content that they place on the page. It can be a widget, it can be velocity, it can be standard messaging, whatever I want. But this is the area I'm going to focus on here, which is I don't want banners. That just happens to be the first content type alphabetically. I want movies, and I can just type in here MOV. It finds my movies content type that we just created during this training. I can click here, add that, remove the banner. All right. And let's say that I want to put movies content type. I'll also want the generic content type, and that one's called content generic, and I guess that's it. I'm just going to keep it simple here. Okay, so whenever somebody adds a movie, what do I want to do? Well, probably the first thing I do, if let's just say this was a container so that content contributors, instead of just doing a widget and pulling the movies, which that's the first thing that I would probably do if I was creating something like imdb.com, but what if over here on the right-hand side, there was somebody's movie pick of the week, and the content contributor, I asked the content contributors, any way we can pre-predict what I should pull automatically on the right-hand side? And they say no. I have to make a choice. Every single month, I'm picking a different movie, doing a movie review, or adding the movie as a spotlight thing. Okay, fine. Then we would make a custom container for this instead of just dropping a widget on a page and pulling it dynamically, right? So then I would need to say I want to style, no matter what, I would want to style exactly how that movie is going to look anytime they place it here. So the first thing I want to do is maybe put the title inside my H2. So I add my H2, it auto-completes, then I click in the middle of my H2, and then I say what variable, what field from my movie content do I want to place. I click add variable, and it automatically reads the movie content type and suggests to me all of the different fields, right? So first thing I want to put is my title inside my H2, and it puts the velocity variable. Velocity is just a scripting language that lays on top of our Java. It's kind of like PHP. It's very light, very, very easy to write, and we give full training on it. And yeah, very, very easy. So I throw the title on the page. Then maybe I would want the publish date or something like that. So I'll put a EM and maybe a break after that. And then in the middle of my italics, I'm going to add date, and I want my release date but I also want it to be formatted a little bit. I don't need time in seconds, so I'll put this date short string, and it kind of helps me, writes a little bit of code, so it's using that release date variable, and then it's putting short format after it, so it automatically will format my date for me. And then maybe I want a poster. Now I'm doing really simplistic styling here, is to not take up your time. So I'm just going to put inside of a p tag, I'm going to add variable, and I want a resized poster. So here you can just drop the source, image tag, or I can do poster resized. I click that, and it says if a poster set on the content, using a little test of the binary field path, I could maybe put this a little nicer. Maybe tab this in. Okay. If it's set on the content, then go ahead and gives me my image source path. It tells me that I can do this. I'll even choose a new method, and I'll show you a new way using that. Oh, actually, I can even just do this. So yes, that would work, but oh, well, this is on the container. Yeah. So that would be, we'll just leave it as it was. Be simple. Okay. And then maybe I want it to resize to maybe 200 on the width. And I could include the language version as well. I'm also going to keep that simple. Okay, we're just going to resize it at 200 width, and it'll resample and cache at that size. I want the description. I'll put that in another p tag. Or maybe I'll leave that for the detail page. Leave that for the detail page, which we're going to show. And that's it. Okay. I'm going to save and publish. I don't need any other fields. And you know what? And let me also allow generic content. So this one's easy. I can just click add content. I just want to add the body WYSIWYG if they want to add generic content, and that's it. I'll save and publish that container. Now I've got this movie container that you can add generic content or you can add movies to. Now I'll add a new template. Really, this is the fastest part, believe it or not. So I'll go to template and I'll add a new template designer template. Now you can add advanced template, which you drop all the code in yourself and you can parse containers using that, or you can just add a template designer template. And now we can just, with no code whatsoever, lay out some templates. I can choose whatever theme that I want. You can put themes in whatever framework that you want, Bootstrap, YAML, whatever framework. You want to invent your own framework, that's fine. We show you in training how to make the 4 little files that you need to add a new theme to implement absolutely any design you want. And we've included several here just as a sample. You can take absolutely any design, and if it takes you more than 2 hours, then your design's got issues or something. And that's, it's very fast to build things in dotCMS. So I'm gonna put just this one, well, I should do movie template, 1 column. Or maybe I'll put 2 column. Show you how to add columns here. All right, so although in the layout they can change it anytime they want if they have permissions to do that. So instead of 1 column, I'll go ahead and say we're going to have maybe a 3366, and you can choose any of those layouts that you wish. You can add as many rows as you wish, add more containers to those rows, or just kill that. I don't need the second row. So then the second you do that, you say, okay, in this layout that I'm making, and that's pretty much all you're doing with a template, what containers are going to control the content and format the content. So on my left-hand side, I'm going to put just a widget that does like a pull of movies or a pull of categories of movies or something like that. So I'm just going to add like a default container. So there's my default 2 container, and I'll just drop him over here. And then I'll put a widget in him. And then here, I want my movie review guy to be able to drop movies statically, because that's what he said his requirement was. That's it. I'm done with my template. I can start creating pages now. I've saved that movie 2-column template. I can go back to my training folder. I'm going to switch the template on my training home. So that layout design that I made, I'm just going to totally change it. Throw that guy away. My custom layout, don't want it anymore. I want a movie template 2-column. Save and publish, and done. Now I've got my movie template, and it's got the 2 columns the way that I laid it out. If I want to then add my own custom layout on top of it, I could, and you can see the movie container right here in the default 2 over here. And I want to start dragging and dropping things around and changing it and getting all crazy and switching the themes again, I can. Okay, but I don't want to. And we're keep it simple here, right? Now that I've added my movie container here, I can click here, add content, and then switch to the 2 types of content, which I said this container allows, right? Just no matter what it, and of course permissions then could further granularly show or not show these as well. But I'm going to add a new movie. There's my movies, and I'm going to add both of these. So I'll select The Incredibles, and I'm going to add my other piece of content, which would be Ratatouille, right? So I'm adding my content there. And so I've added my content. There's got my title, it's got my release date, and it's got my poster, right? And that's it. I'm going to now publish my page, save and publish, and here's my movie showing. Now you're going to see one problem, right? This guy's not supposed to be published yet. So if I click on my live, he's not there. So when will he appear? When will that movie review make itself, visible or whatever it is? This is where I can go to the time machine and take a look into the future and see if August 15th he's going to be visible. So I travel over, now that I've created my template and container there, I go to time machine and I look into the future and I say, what's going to happen in August? On August, let's see, 14th. And I look at it in English. And then I go right to training. Oh, I didn't make him clickable. All right. Let me just fix that. Put training home and page properties and show on menu. Yes, I do want to lock it for editing. Okay. Now we'll be able to hit him from the time machine. Okay, future, August 14th in English. And then my training, I got my training home, although he should be on the top. August 14th, Ratatouille is not visible. That's exactly as we planned it, right? But on the 16th, the 15th is already passed, so I go to my training home. All right. But that is the time machine in the future. And then this one is in the past. This is how to take a past snapshot. So if I go to settings and I want to add my website and take a snapshot that then I'll be able to freeze the site, then I can add it, say whether I want the English and Spanish. I'm just going to put the English, make it quick. And then I can say I want it once a day to happen at 1 a.m. and I want to run it as a cron job. But I can also save and run it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and run. And right now, all of the static HTML of my entire site, including everything that we just did, is backing up, right? And then the second that that's finished, I'll be able to come back here in the time machine and I'll be able to click on and see that exact date and timestamp in my past option here. Let's just let that run and then we'll come back to the time machine in a second. So that is the time machine.